Okay, hello everyone. I'm Donor Dan. I'm the world's most professional, healthiest, most tested, and most transparent open sperm donor. And today I'm getting ready for probably one of my last trips as a donor. I'm going to retire as a traveling donor, and I'll tell you at the end of the video why I decided to retire mostly or partially as a traveling donor. Before I take this last trip, I decided to take you on an adventure through all the things I take on these trips with me because I've learned so much being a traveling donor for almost 1.5 years. I've gone to about 20 different countries as a traveling donor, so I know what it takes and I know what I have to take on a trip and whatnot. Today I want to show the things that I specifically take in order to optimize fertility, my fertility, but also high pregnancy chances and healthy outcomes for the recipients I work with. So I won't go too deep into all the what kind of socks do I take. Of course, everything's cotton, no polyester. We know that. But I'm not going to go into my socks and what t-shirts I'm taking. I'm going into those things that I'm taking on this trip to make sure my fertility stays optimal. This is not just interesting for men who are open sperm donors, traveling sperm donors, but also for men who just want to optimize their fertility, have a busy lifestyle, might be traveling, maybe you have multiple partners in different countries that you want to have children with, or you just have a work trip and at the same time you're trying to get your partner pregnant. So this is also important for you guys, but also local sperm donors who go on a trip every now and then. There's a few things you will want to know, you will want to note. I will take all this stuff and put it in the school community for the Open Donor Association. If you want to become a professional donor, reach out to me. Go through the link in my bio or link in the description, opendonorassociation.com. We're looking for open donors and we're helping people have children, both open donors but also recipients and women. Okay, let's get into the things, and I think one of the most important things as I'm looking at about like a 9 to 10 hour trip to London in the UK, and one thing you would definitely not expect any normal person. I think what I'm doing is very normal, helping people have babies. We've been doing that forever. That's what we are supposed to do. Even God said so, but I'm going to take these cooling pads on the travel with me to the UK. Now, I take these on the trip and in the plane. They last about 8 hours, but on a 10-hour trip, I would use 2 cooling pads and put them under my testicles. Make sure that there's some cotton in between because I don't want the plastic on my testicles, because if I do start sweating, plastic can leach into your skin. Even if you're not sweating, plastic can leach into your skin. So this helps with cooling. Cooling is one of the most important things for testosterone and for high sperm quality. Our bodies have been designed to survive outside, and now we're spending a lot of time inside sitting. So when I sit, I usually also use cooling packs. I don't like to sit while I'm working. I usually have a walking desk or a standing desk. But yeah, this is definitely something I recommend anyone to get going on a trip. And I think this is not just something sperm donors should get. I think every man should get these right here. Then another thing, which of course makes sense, from my trips, I usually have a bunch of different currencies in my wallet. I have a wallet just for currencies. I got this from my recipients in Australia and Brisbane. So I have Colombian money, I have Thai money here, and this time I'm going to the UK, right? So I think this is something every organized donor should have. It's something I learned from my mother back then to make sure that I don't have to transfer money back and forth when I know I'm going back to that country. So we got some Queen Elizabeth back when she was young and fertile. I got some of those. I don't know who this bro is. He also looks fertile. But I got some of these right here, and I'm taking those on my trip. And in my wallet, there's also another thing that you would need as a sperm donor. I don't think necessarily, but I think it's definitely an advantage. And for me, it's an Ultra membership for my credit card provider. And this card is Revolut, so it's like a European bank. Now, why I think this is so important is mostly because of the lounges at the airport. So when you're a traveling donor, you don't want too much stress while you're traveling. You want healthy food. You also want to be able to drink enough. Now at the airport, food is expensive, water is expensive, everything is crowded, everything might be stressed. This card lets me go into the lounges, which is why I have this and I take this on my trips. I might cancel it now that I'm going to retire partially as a donor, a traveling donor, not as a donor, don't worry, no worries. I might cancel this, but we'll see how much I do get booked for travels in the future. One more thing, also very important, is my travel set with supplements. So you can find a full list of supplements in the school community of the Open Donor Association. I think it's even open for public through the link in my bio. You can find all the supplements I take. Now I have a certain stack for my travel with the most important supplements just because going on a trip and having a routine is a really difficult thing. It's one of the reasons I'm trying to travel less. So that's why I take only about, well, for you guys it's probably a lot, for me it's not a lot. I take about 6 or 7 different supplements. I have evening multivitamins, I have morning multivitamins, I have probiotics, extra multivitamins just in case, magnesium, NAC, creatine, omega-3, and zinc. So these are kind of the basics for fertility and for traveling. I like to take these. I would like to, not have them in plastic bags, to be honest. I might have to get some cotton bags for this. But yeah, this is not hot material, so shouldn't be too much microplastics going on. We don't like microplastics. We try to minimize microplastics. But yeah, these are the fertility supplements I take on a trip. So instead of taking my whole thing, I just go take one of these. Looks a little bit like I'm smuggling drugs, but these are actually baby positive drugs. So they're good drugs, good supplements. No synthetic medicine or anything like that. Another thing I think is great for a traveling sperm donor is having multiple passports. Now, this is something I talk about in my other videos too, not just because you might go from one country to another where one passport is stronger than the other, but also because while you're traveling or as a donor, you always run risk that someone might want to sue you. Now, in my case, I'm very careful with the screening of my recipients. I only work with wonderful couples. They go through screening. I have donor fees, so the chances of me being sued is much less than if you're a free donor or if you just try to accommodate anyone. Also, what I consider low quality recipients. These are unhealthy women, women with mental health problems, physical health problems, those that I don't want in the network of half siblings for my own children, but also donor conceived kids. Now, I'm very careful with this, and you can see this passport has seen a lot, my American passport. I guess this still counts as a passport. I hope it does, because it's kind of fading away. I should have gotten a case. But having multiple passports also protects you from child support risks, right? If someone decides to sue you, you can just drop one and then take off with the other one. It makes it generally harder and adds another hurdle to any other hurdles you might have as a donor. For example, no assets under your name, no high income under your name. Maybe you're already paying child support to a partner that you trust. There's many ways you can protect yourself, but that's a different topic. Multiple passports is good. These are 2 of my 3 passports. My Canadian passport is being updated right now, but will be with me soon. Plus, these can be passed on to children as well, so it's always a great benefit to have them while you're traveling, also so you can show them to recipients in case they want to make sure that you're actually who you are, you say. Another add-on, everyone should have this, but you should have this every day, are blue light glasses. I don't know if you can see it, but they have like a slightly yellowish tint. These look like normal glasses. I like to remind recipients when I meet them that these are not normal glasses, these are blue light glasses, because having issues with the eyes or with eyesight is usually not very convenient as a donor because it might pass on to the child. So recipients do prefer donors who have great eyesight. So I just like a nice hairline. Having a good and clean hairline is just as good as having a great eyesight. I guess eyesight is more important. It's hard to, stack those things because at the end of the day, maybe a child would want to have a great hairline, but doesn't care so much if it has to wear glasses or get laser. I guess nowadays you can get laser as well, so it's not a big deal. If you do need glasses, you can still sign up for the Open Donor Association, become a donor. So that's something I take. Blue light glasses are important too. I have an international driver's license because I want to stay independent. Usually when I travel, recipients get me a rental car as well, so I have some flexibility and I can enjoy my time there as well. I'm not just stuck at the hotel. I might want to go swimming, go hiking, go running, go see some places, sightseeing. I'm not a big sightseeing guy, but that's something I can do as well. I used to like sightseeing, but after you've been to 20 or 30 countries, you start to get tired of everything because there's so much. There's so much out there. Let me tell you guys, you can never see everything in this world, which is a great thing and a hard thing at the same time. I love my AirPods when I travel. Now this goes hand in hand with another thing right here. And this right here, actually. Yeah, this should be enough if I show you this. This goes hand in hand with this. Now, why do AirPods go hand in hand with this magical thing in the cotton bag? It's because of getting sleep, high quality sleep. So I like to get my flights overnight. I can actually sleep pretty well on planes, so my sleep quality is normally between 95 and 100% when I'm at one place set, for example, here in Miami, near Miami. But when I'm traveling on the plane, I can even stay around 85 to 95% just by having good sleep mask. I like to take multiple sleep masks because I do lose these. I'm good at losing things that are not incredibly important. But I've gotten better at it, to be honest, just because I've done all this travel. And then a sleeping pillow, of course, so that I can sleep well in the plane. And my AirPods with the sound delete button thing. They make it so that you don't hear the airplane noise and you can listen to a podcast. So while I'm traveling, I try to educate myself about health, about fertility, all sorts of things. I'm not a big fan of wasting my time. Maybe that's like a German trait. We like to be on time and we like to get things done. So this is something I take. Now another thing that I like to bring on my trips, I usually have a gym, so I usually don't need this, but these are these kind of resistance bands, right? So you can do all sorts of exercises with these. For example, this is not really upper back, but you can do your upper back. You can put it under your foot. You can do your biceps. You can stretch with these. I'm not the expert on these resistance bands, but I use them or I take them to have a backup in case I don't have a gym and I have to reach my strain. Now I track my strain in my workout every day, so I see once I'm in a good range of strain, I try to push it because in these mid to late 20s, I want to get to the best physical state I've ever been in, because it's harder to do in your 30s and 40s, which is why I keep track and which is why I make sure I have a backup for that as well when I go. If you watch my video about my daily routine, you can find most things that I put in this bag. It says DB. These are actually my initials. I got this from recipients. It was a gift from recipients, just like this cap. This cap was a gift from recipients, and this bag. So there's a few gifts from recipients here as well. I have my fluoride-free toothpaste, but that and a few of the other things you can find in my last video that I made about all the things I have in my apartment. So I really just take the same things on a trip as well to maintain a good routine. Okay, we got a few more exciting things. We're almost done, but we got a few more exciting things. I think one that's really exciting is that I have these dust masks. Now, you don't necessarily need them when you're in London, but going through the airport, going into the plane, and countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Colombia, there's a few countries where having air masks is really nice, and I really like to have these special air masks. So these are not just regular, these are with active carbon filters. So this says efficiency over 99%, which is good because it's close to 100. And I like taking these to make sure that my health stays optimal during a trip as well. I also like to take some snacks for the flight. I don't have these with me right now, so some nuts or something like that is healthy to go with when I'm traveling. Just to show you guys, to remind you guys, what if I do bring clothes, it's cotton, even like my underwear. So I like these big cotton underwear. I can recommend anyone, any man should get these. No one should wear these tight things. They basically push your testicles inside, keep them super hot in an unnatural state, unnatural position. You know, they're not used to it. All your ancestors have lived with their balls just flying around, you know, running around. So I wouldn't push them inside. I don't think it has good, it doesn't have good effects on your fertility, but also on your testosterone levels and many other things. So a lot of the modern day issues that we're seeing in fertility, but also in men overall, is that we are not taking care of our testicles enough in many different ways. Toxins, heat, all that kind of stuff. This is something I used to hate when my mother put it on my head. And it's a hat, like a sun hat. I can show you guys what it looks like. I used to feel really incredibly ugly with this. Now I think I look pretty cool with this. Going with that, my sunglasses, because UV protection is very important when I'm traveling. So this is what Donor Dan looks like when he's getting ready for a donation in a very hot and sunny country. UV light and UV light exposure is not really good for your skin. I want to look good. I want to look young for a long time so that people are like, oh, look, I have this cool, healthy looking donor. He might be 50 years old, but he looks like 35. So that's one thing I want to do. Plus, a lot of UV exposure also puts stress on your body and lowers your sperm quality. So we don't want that. For the Mothers I help, we don't want it because we want them successful soon, but also for their children, we want the healthiest possible outcome. Fertility is not just getting pregnant, it's also having a healthy outcome, a good 9 month, 8 month, 9 month, whatever the healthy window is, pregnancy. Those are the things that I'm trying to work towards as a donor on my end, and that's also why I share so much on my Instagram and my YouTube for recipients and other donors for free, because I believe if I can leverage my knowledge, my experience, my routine, and push it into other people's lives, optionally, of course. I'm not telling you to do this stuff. I'm just putting it out there. I'm impacting other healthy babies that will, in the future, maybe be the friends of the donor conceived children that I helped create. Okay, I think we got two more things, and then we have the most important stuff. Let me think. Have I forgotten anything? Maybe my laptop. I take my laptop as well, of course, but I don't put it on my lap. If I do use it at the airport, I use it at the lounge, or I put my bag first, keep some air for my testicles, put my bag, put the laptop on top. Try not to look down too much. Now, I like to work, and I think what other donors in the past have been doing not very well is that they were mainly focused on their own, what I call reproductive success as a donor. Now, we as men, our ego can come in between, and I know other donors where having, we call it numbers maxing internally, like me and other donors, we talk about it as numbers maxing. So there's donors who numbers max, for them it's just like having this cool number they can boast about, tell their friends like, hey, I have 50, I have 100, I have 500 baby mamas. There's donors out there talking like this, even though I consider people I work with recipients, not baby mamas. Very different story, I think. And I see this a lot. And sadly, a lot of those donors, especially in the past, I think I am trying to shift that. A lot of donors in the past were not interested at all in educating other donors or helping them become donors in the industry, but mostly focused on their own reproductive success. Now, I think that is understandable from an ego perspective, but narrow-minded, looking at the bigger picture of what reproduction and family growth does, not just to your own family, but also to humanity overall. Having more healthy children out there that can become healthy adults and then have healthy grandchildren is important, not just in your own family, but also for other families, so that you then have other families you can connect to, because you got to have kids with someone. You can't just do everything on your own, right? No, just to give you some idea there why I love putting this out there and why I hope other donors will do so in the future too. So I got one last backup thing and two more backup things that I think are good backups to have. Now, one, and I've only needed this once before, is an extra sample collection cup and sample collection and insemination syringe. Now, I have these with me anytime. Of course, they are closed and unused because I want to make sure that if anything happens, recipients forget their own utensils, their own tools. Maybe they're stressed, or maybe they thought I would bring them. Usually I communicate that recipients should choose their own utensils because I want them to choose what they feel comfortable with. I don't want to tell them, hey, this is what you're doing, because that's very intimate. That's really up to the recipients. I take these anyways, just in case, just to have a backup, because I had the situation once before, and I had a cup, luckily, in that situation where a recipient said, oh, I thought you were going to bring it. And I did have the backup. So if you're a recipient, please don't put your bets on this. Bring your own utensils, especially if you are having me travel into your area, but also make sure that, you choose what is comfortable for you. Now, this is something that I bought being a traveling donor, and I actually never used it. But I think if you're a new traveling donor, maybe unprofessional, maybe don't yet really know what you're doing or what's going on, I recommend getting this. This is in Germany we say Hängematte. I forgot the English word, but it's one of those things you put between the trees and then you hang in it. I forgot the word, sorry. English is my second language. Now I gotta look up what it's called. But yeah, I got this. It's a hammock. Right, I remember. A hammock. You have the tree straps, you put it on there, you put it between trees. I got this because when I first started as a donor, even though I'm donor conceived, so I had a lot of demand being donor conceived, I had kind of an advantage because most people say they want to work with someone who's experienced in this donor conception industry. I'm considering myself a an industry baby for this, what I do. And so I had this hammock at first because I wasn't sure if the demand was really going to be high all the time. And I was also worried that recipients who want to work with me then end up making other plans or canceling plans for health reasons or whatever reasons. They might find a more convenient donor because they're looking for convenience and not for healthy outcomes, which happens a lot. A lot of recipients look for convenience and not for healthy outcomes, something I'm hoping to change with my presence and my education. Now, I use this hammock. I would use this hammock. I never used it, but this would be something I would recommend to other donors that go on a travel and don't have deposits yet, or maybe financially kind of tight. I've seen it before. I've seen donors going on donor travels, once even with me, hoping to find other recipients during the travel, and then ending up having no recipients for a long window or for the whole travel, right? Because a lot of people, they talk to you, they might make plans and then they cancel the plans, or they talk to you, but they're not really sure yet if they want to have a child, so they're waiting another year. This is really their timeline. This is nothing you can pressure them in. I do have a deposit myself just to make sure when people want to make plans with me and they want me to fix a certain window for them, lock it in for them, that I receive a deposit. So I don't end up sleeping in a hammock. But this is great for young donors who don't mind and like traveling, and at the end of the day, if something happens, they have no recipients for a couple of weeks, they can just put the hammock up and enjoy some solo camping. So yeah, this was quite a longer video than I expected, to be honest. I will make another video about why I decided to retire partially as a traveling donor myself. Now, there will still be the option for me to travel. The prices for that just have changed a lot. I will go into why that is in the future. I also offer shipping. So there's also still the option for anyone in the world in some way to work with me. The logistics are possible. Depends on how flexible you are and what kind of route you want to take. But I offer US shipping and all that as well. So that's a little bit of a teaser why I'm not so much of a traveling donor anymore. But I hope this video helped anyone who is traveling. A lot of the things I showed in this video, again, are also useful for women. Now, I'm trying to be an expert on fertility for men. I'm trying to be an expert on family growth out of the men's perspective, out of a man's perspective. So I'm focusing on that. If you want to know more about the Open Donor Association, if you want to become a donor yourself, a professional donor, you can sign up, you can apply to the Open Donor Association. We have different brackets for different type of men depending on where you are and what you're trying to achieve as a donor. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you think I forgot anything for this trip, for this travel, if you think I should redo this video, sit down again, show you everything, and add a few things, you can leave a comment down below and let me know what I forgot. If there's anything else you would like to share with me, I really appreciate a comment or a like. I know life creation, donor conception, family growth is not the most entertaining topic all the time, and it's a really niche topic too. I believe, though, it's very valuable to humanity as a whole. So it's really helpful if you take the time, share this video, like this video, comment this video, do some engagement, make the algorithm feel like you actually enjoyed this video. That was it for this today. I'm looking forward to sharing more of my experiences as a donor in the future. I hope you have a great future generations. Bye-bye.